live.
Oh!
I refuse to do that. Every episode, I'm going to refuse to do that. I have standards. Not a lot of them. I got them.
No, you don't.
I don't.
You know. You're the only one that does.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dice Dogs Campaign 1. It feels like it's been a while, but we met last Sunday, so I don't know why it feels like that. Oh, because finals have been ramming spike-covered.
It's been a long week. It's been a long week, man.
It's been a very long week, yes, indeed. Okay, so let me just get a little cleaned up here. Okay, shit, my books. Fuck, hang on.
No, it's the best DM we have, you know.
He is.
Oh, it's right from the beginning.
He goddamn is.
You know.
Oh my god. Okay, I
have 3 DMs and I can't pick a favorite.
I just spent $50 on a dice set. Should I spend $40 on another dice set?
Yes.
I mean, that's up to you.
Oh my god, it's so pretty.
I
oh my god, it's so fucking pretty.
On what is essentially just 2 ounces of plastic, so absolutely.
Oh my god, it's so pretty.
Do it!
Oh my god.
No.
It has roses inside each die.
Do it!
Oh my god. Okay, I'm goodbye. Fuck you. Fuck everything.
I know when I start DMing, I'm gonna get myself some metal DM dice.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. So, before we get started here, a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, I've got some one-shots planned in the future, and what that means is, like, it's just, like, one game with different characters.
Right.
And we do have a couple options for that, but would that be something you guys would be open to for an episode at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've got like the rule books for the Ravnica campaign setting. I don't know if you guys know what Ravnica is, but it's a Magic the Gathering setting where the entire planet is covered by this huge city that's run by 10 guilds, and each guild has its own like different flavor. It's very cool, very fun.
That sounds dope.
I also have some joke campaign settings. I have a space setting, but other than that,
space.
As always, I am your DM, Connor Man. With me is, as always, is Sophie, Vinn, Ethan, M, and Finn. When we have a Vinn and we have a Finn with an V, it fucks me up.
I'm sorry. We did this to you on purpose.
I'm Vinathy, and that's Finnegan.
That's even worse. That's even worse. Okay, but without any further ado, does anybody want to give me a quick recap of what happened last time on Dice Dogs?
Quick recap. Who's going to start? Teacher calling someone.
I can go through my notes.
Okay, I can get to my notes. Yeah, just a heads up, I'm a bit cuckoo on medicine right now, so my brain isn't fully functioning.
Totally
so I'm
fine.
sitting here like,
Totally
fine. Yeah, I'm a morphin again. That's correct.
Oh my god.
I'm actually on 16 different pills right now, so if I space out, I apologize in advance. Just be a little patient with me, and I'll try my best.
It's like that one episode of Smosh that's just like, if you had to guess, how many antidepressants do you think I'm on right now?
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah, Finn, go ahead and take it away.
So we found out that they call us the Shepherds of Good Tidings because we kept the party going for the festival and won the Star Costa's favor. It had been 2 days. We've been waiting for a caravan. A huge wagon train gathers at the south exit, 10 to 15 long. Everyone is led to the back to ride with the cow. Tilly Knox stole a necklace, and she was being chased by the crownsguard, trying to talk her way out of it. She suavely gets them to argue with each other and slinks away. It was a necklace with a pendant.
This is true.
I won't take all of the recap time.
Popcorn reading.
Several pages worth of it.
No.
So.
That's okay. Just give us like a quick breakdown. Just
Who?
It was a very roleplay heavy episode. We found out that the pendant was a pendant of the Lonely Twinga. When we stopped for camp, Ozla was nearly assassinated by somebody who was designated by the Drowned One. And this drudged up some things from her past that we've chosen to overlook for now. She's called a Marked One, hunted by Ugatoa, the Great Leviathan.
Ugatoa.
Oh, my.
And then eventually Velios showed up and still has a crush on us, for sure.
Uh-huh.
And we
She's
are
fine.
arriving at Zadash.
Sophie just left. Sophie
I'm sure she's
ran
fine.
out the door.
I'm sure she's fine. I'm sure she's...
Just
That's not a
don't.
barbarian. You are all casters. You die without her.
No, we'd be fine.
Where did she go?
Yeah, we'd be
We
okay.
have a monk. We have a monk.
Yeah, I'm right ahead. I could,
Hey, Eldritch Blast, 120
Yeah.
feet, and I add my charisma modifier to my damage rolls, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, you're
What
also
is your
a
charisma
warlock.
modifier?
You're also a
Dhuur'in,
warlock, a slight
who never
charisma
speaks to
modifier.
anybody. What's your charisma modifier?
+6.
What?
Wait, how's your charisma modifier +6 right now?
It's because of the proficiency.
Oh, okay.
Because
I was gonna say, Jesus.
right, that's
It's +4,
that's what you
+2,
add
yeah.
to the spell. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like,
Yes.
Baseline it's 6 because it can only go up to +5.
I was gonna say because that
No,
should be possible.
baseline it's 4, but then I add
4.
the 2.
Yeah. Okay, makes more sense.
yeah.
Whew.
I would say, can someone text? Thank God she's back.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, she's back.
Is
Hi,
everything
sorry, I'm
welcome
cooking
back?
potatoes and I forgot them in the oven.
Oh my God.
Okay, so now that we have everybody back, and now that we have everybody caught up, last we left, you were coming over the hill on your little caravan wagon train, making your way down to Zadash, and you're kind of entering the city of Zadash from the south side, so you're not like towards the main gate. So essentially, what's happening is they're taking you out on a road alongside the 15-foot walls that kind of like surround the entire city to try to get you to the front. And as you guys approach as you approach the city walls and start to make your way around, you just the absolute splendor and size of Zadash becomes apparent to you as you watch the tri-spires raise up from the ground. And the tri-spires are the 3 tallest buildings in all of Zadash, visible even from your vantage point directly under the walls that you are under right now. And it takes about an hour or so to get to the front, but once you finally do get there, kind of like littered through in kind of like a hallway kind of style nearest the front gate is kind of like a shanty town of tents, and you see kind of like destitute people living there of all races and of all creeds, and they kind of like eyeball the entire caravan as you go. There is a handful of like very displeased looking crownsguard. And Dhuur'in, you notice that whenever a crownsguard happens to see you, their eyes narrow even more, and their grip tightens even harder on their spear. And there might be a good reason for this, because if you guys will remember, a recent ceasefire between the Dwendalian Empire and the Luxon Dynasty, which is made mostly up of Drow elves, is currently taking place, which has risen to something of a cold war across Wildemount. So right now there's some tension there.
Yeah.
And
So it's not. So it's not because he dragged a dead body out of the tent.
I mean, that probably didn't help, but like that probably didn't help. But as your train goes through the gates one by one, there seems to be a team of guards at the front with a table, kind of like checking through everything. They stop each cart one by one, and finally, when they get to yours, there's There's another tiefling guard, not Valios, unfortunately. This one is his skin is a very deep red, and he has kind of like a chin strap beard with some long black hair that kind of files into a ponytail, and he's got kind of a clipboard, and he's like, "Passports, please."
Passports. Oh, we do have passports. We're legal. I will say, as the passports are produced, Nox will pull hers out and she'll offer it, and there is a like very clear look of pride, like slightly smug pride on her face, because this is like the first time she's entered a city and didn't ask for her passport and actually had one and didn't have to just like make something up. So she's like, "Oh, passport, you say? Here it is."
All right. So he takes your passports one by one and kind of like holds them up to like look at the sketched picture of your faces on each passport to try to like compare them to each of you. And once he seems satisfied, he gives them a little bit of like a red stamp and then hands them back to you. And he seems like he's about to like allow you through the gates, which are manned by 2 guards who kind of like open them up for each wagon as they come through. But just before he's about to give the command, the captain of the wagon train, you'll remember the high elf from the camp who questioned you guys.
That motherfucker.
You hear the clank of his boots as he makes his way over to the other guard, and he whispers something into his ear, and the tiefling slowly nods before he says, "All right, you all. Once your wagon's inside, you wait by the wall. We have some questions for you, eh?"
Wonderful.
Mysterious.
You're not being arrested. We just got questions. All right.
Bloody feels like it.
Nox will just nod her head.
And if you keep that attitude up, Halfling, it's gonna be a.
Watch it.
With that, he kind of waves his hand at the other 2 guards, who finally pull the gate open for you. And as the 2 massive wooden doors open up, the splendor of Zadash practically shines through the crack in the door, and you see these huge Germanic style buildings of colorful wood and perfect make. You see clean cobblestone streets manned by cleaners and guards. Even though you're not in the merchant square right now, you can see booths that are just like filled to the very brim with goods and services. This is clearly you're very much reminded of Pride's Call in that this is a place of plenty, but to a greater scale and with far more diversity, because where there are mostly hill dwarves and halflings in Pride's Call, there's tieflings here, there's humans, there's elves, there's halflings, there's gnomes. You look around and it's just a big old melting pot of races. No goblinoids, however. You don't see any goblins or hobgoblins or bugbears or anything of the sort like that, which makes sense because in the Dwendalian Empire, it's accepted as common knowledge that goblins aren't really considered people. They're considered more akin to mindless beasts and animals.
Mean.
So as your cart is pulled through, Tilly kind of gives like a murr of indifference. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Gesh, Princess is currently wrapped around your neck like a little scarf, like a little furry scarf.
Oh,
yeah. So
cool.
Yeah. And the person who's kind of like leading the horses that are dragging your cart along kind of brings you off to the side, and eventually there are a group of crownsguard who come along to take over for them, and they're dismissed. And they take your cart over to a huge gilded building of brass and bronze and silver. And you, Jesus Christ, I can't even talk. The trip itself, the trip itself takes about 20 minutes, half an hour. But Nox, can you make me a history check?
I sure can make you a history check. Oh, it's going to be a bad one.
That's okay. What's yours?
Can I actually... well, maybe I should save it. Okay, never mind.
What, were you going to give yourself a bardic inspiration for the first time ever?
No, because I can't use Bardic Inspiration myself. I was going to use my regular Inspiration, but I should save that for a better time, because I only have one of those.
Okay, what'd you get? What'd you get overall?
Give me 1 second. I haven't done it yet. Boop, 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 boop. This is the music of waiting for me to roll. That's a 4.
No.
Maybe I should have used Inspiration.
I'll let you use Inspiration if you want to.
Our group of history checks.
Okay, all right. I'm using Inspiration. So Nax makes one attempt to penetrate the mind fog, and it doesn't work. And then she takes a moment to ground herself. She thinks of her father. She thinks of the many stories that she's heard in her past about all manner of fascinating things, and she rolls a 7. Okay.
Okay, so
It's better.
So fortunately for you, this was not a very difficult check to make, even though you
Hell yeah.
failed it on the first try.
Utterly failed it.
So this 20-foot tall single-story structure of bronze and cobalt, you've heard of it before. You know it as the King's Hall, which is kind of like serves as like the courthouse and sometimes impromptu jail for Zadash. There is a proper jail, but when that's full, sometimes the prosecuted will be shipped off to the King's Hall. So you know that this is kind of a place where like justice is dealt, where suits can be brought, that kind of thing. This is a place of the law.
Okay.
Yeah. And eventually your card is brought in, and you all say a sad goodbye to Tilly as a young halfling comes and tosses a rope around her neck to kind of walk her away. But
goodbye, Tilly.
As you exit the hay-filled, dung-infested wagon, because at this point that thing is full of cow shit.
Oh yeah.
It was just a wonderful aroma.
Yeah, in a 2 crownsguard, two pairs of crownsguard kind of make their way up to you. 2 of them flank you, and 2 of them are kind of in the front as you make your way into the King's Hall. And once you are in there, you're in kind of like this it's kind of like a hardwood lobby. It's well established. It's a place of the law. It's going to be very clean. It's going to be very organized. It's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of like 2 round tables with curved benches along the side, and there's kind of 2 hallway entrances. It's kind of similar to like the setup of the jailhouse in Pride's Call, but on like a much larger scale. And the red tiefling from earlier, he steps into the interior as well, and he points at Ozla and he's like, "All right, you with me?"
Oh God.
What do you want?
We got questions for you, like I said, so follow me. And he starts making his way down towards one of the hallways.
Okay. Ozla's gonna follow him, but at the last second turn around and yell, "Take care of Princess!" And then she's gonna keep going.
All right. What are you guys? As Ozla's being led away, 2 of the guards kind of like point towards a set of benches that's kind of like set up against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Nax is looking very uncomfortable. She's looked uncomfortable probably since she saw that they were being escorted into this building. Because, well, for anybody, being escorted into a building of law is nerve-wracking, especially when you have often been on the wrong side of the law. So she's looking kind of nervous. She will go and sit. She's very clearly trying to like keep a low profile, but whoever is like closest to her, she's gonna kind of like I guess I should ask who would be closest to her. Who else is gonna go sit?
Well, Dhuur'in's not gonna sit. He's gonna just go stand next to the benches. He's also visibly uncomfortable.
He's gonna lean against the wall.
size, the sheer size and grandeur of this place, he's very visibly uncomfortable.
This is way
Yeah.
more civilization than you're used to.
Oh yeah, this is not a cave at all. Nox is gonna kind of nudge him and kind of mutter under her breath to him and say, "This is the center of law in this massive city. It is probably not a good thing that we are here. You should keep your guard."
He nods slowly.
And then she's just gonna kind of lean back and cross her arms, and she's very alert. Her ears are swiveling. She's keeping an eye out.
I would like Fenkin to like attempt to follow us, even though he's probably gonna be stopped. And if he gets stopped, I want him to pick a fight with the guards.
God.
A guard does actually step in front of you, Fenkin. A half-orc guard, and he stares down at you and says,
Large.
He says, "Sit on a bench or lie in a grave."
Oh, snap. Wow.
He's gonna angrily stop with his foot because he can't do anything. But gives them a long glare and like, "I'm watching you," and then he turns around, humps, and goes and sits on a bench and crosses his arms angrily.
The half-orc is going to snicker and then kind of like pointing his spear over at Gesh. "You too, big man, on the bench."
He just sort of... He just stares for a minute, contemplating. He swings his quarterstaff around for a bit, and then taps it down before going and sitting properly.
Okay, so, Ozla, you are led into what appears to be a small, somewhat empty room. Inside, there's no windows in this room. It's just kind of like it's kind of a wooden room. There's a rug, and on that rug there's a table and two chairs that are kind of like facing each other. As the guard, as you and the red tiefling make your way into the room, he takes out a ring of keys and he locks the door behind you, and he motions for you to sit in one of the chairs.
She sort of like just stares him down and goes, and then like climbs over and climbs up into the chair, and she sits like cross-legged in it.
All right.
And then she just looks at him like.
So as you stare him down, you see that he's carrying a leather-bound book, as well as what seems to be the letter that Dhuur'in pulled out of your assailant's like flesh pocket.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Why did you remind me?
And slowly he sits down. He puts the letter on the table, and he begins to he starts to like flip through the journal. And he says, "Okay, all right, Ozla Highhill, is that your name?"
Yes.
All right, we won't keep you here for very long. Just got a few questions to ask you, then you're on your way.
Okay.
Okay. So, Captain Demetrius says that you were attacked by one of his own men. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about the assailant?
I didn't really get a good look at him because he pulled a knife out on me, but tall? Then again, everyone's tall. Dark hair? I think he had like a mole with like a little bit of hair on it.
Let me clarify. We know what he looks like. We have the body.
Oh yeah.
Did he say anything?
I mean, I was paralyzed, mate. I think he.
Sophie?
Ozla said.
Okay.
Just out of reality.
Fades into disappearing.
Would someone mind messaging Sophie if she's still talking? We can't hear her. While we're waiting on Sophie, now for a word from our sponsor, Dollar Shave Club. No. Also, I have to say, for legal reasons, that was a joke. We're not actually being sponsored. I learned that
Yeah.
if I don't clarify that that's a joke, that I could land us all in some very hot water. So, ugh.
Sweet.
Hell yeah. That's fine.
No, we'll
Oh.
let y'all know when it's a real sponsor, because I'll be the one introducing it.
Yeah, it'll be Hunt a Killer. That's also a joke. All right. Well, I
We
added
have the right to
Sophie.
make as many jokes as we like.
Oh no, she disconnected. Okay.
She's probably resetting up her connection. That's fine. We
Technical difficulties.
The rest of the party's just sitting around, shuffling, staring at each other, like
looking annoyed.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable, the situation that you're in right now, because like you have about 4 guards just kind of like all watching you at once. Like maybe a couple of them are just kind of like talking to each other, but they do keep like shooting looks over at Dhuur'in. But eventually, however, out of the hallway there's another set of footsteps, and these footsteps are revealed to be that of a Drow dressed in a crownsguard uniform. He seems to be a relatively young man with kind of like a shock of white hair, and he's got his helmet kind of like tucked under his arm. And as he makes his way out, he nods to the other crownsguard who don't they don't nod back at him at all. In fact, they barely seem to even like register that he's there. And he seems like he's about to make his way through the door, out the door, and into the city proper. But he stops when he sees Dhuur'in. And he looks left, and he looks right, and he makes his way over to Dhuur'in. And he seems very excited, but he he reaches out to you for a moment. He says, "I, you in any kind of trouble?"
He says this to Dhuur'in?
Yeah, to Dhuur'in, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
When Dhuur'in doesn't say anything, he kind of like looks to Nox and he's like, just can he speak what languages does he speak Undercommon?
Yes.
Okay. So you hear the rest of you hear this man switching to Undercommon, and for those of you who don't speak Undercommon, you don't understand a word of this. But Dhuur'in, this young man looks to you and says, "Greetings. My name is Gelvok. Are you in any kind of trouble here? Have you been arrested?"
no.
And he breathes this huge sigh of relief, and kind of like switching his grip on his helmet, he leans in closer and whispers, "All right, listen, I don't know if you're a traveler or if you're new here to Zadash, but for the love of the gods, stay out of the cells, don't do anything to get in trouble, don't get arrested. Do you understand?"
I am uncomfortably aware of my situations.
Unfortunately, I don't think you're as aware as you think. And he lowers his voice again once he sees the rest of you kind of listening. In fact, he slowly like takes you by the shoulder, Dhuur'in, and kind of turns you away to like look at the wall. And he also kind of like turns to look at the wall and kind of leans a bit closer. Your ear is almost kind of like touching, but he does say, "Listen, with how tense things have been around here, when Drow get arrested, they disappear. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?"
There's a slow, solemn nod.
Good. Just, by the Raven Queen, keep your nose down, keep your eyes down, and don't make any trouble until you're out of the city. I'm tired of watching my friends disappear. I'm tired of watching my people vanish. And I don't want you to be another clerical error.
Oh.
I understand. Right.
All right. Thank you very much. And with that, he steps away and he makes his way out through the lobby and out the door. And back into the interrogation room now that we have our barbarian back.
Hawk.
So I believe we left off. Does anybody remember where we left off? Because my brain...
He asked her to describe the guard. She started describing him physically, and then he said, no, what did he say?
Right, yeah, no. Yeah.
Did you hear any of it, though? Or was it just cut off immediately?
You
cut off, like,
early,
as
so
soon as he asked you that, yeah.
So
I
you may
was
want to
talking
start over.
5 fucking minutes.
Oh my god, Sophie! No!
I'm trying to think now. What did she say? I hate the internet. She Ozla sort of when she found out like he meant the other way, she sort of just like went, oh, and then I was kind of paralyzed, mate. I didn't really hear it, but something apparently got said about some children's story. I don't know. He was pretty pissed about it though. I don't know what the fuck he was going on about. Sound like a bloody I didn't hear what he said. No.
Is Ozla lying to him?
Yeah.
Make a deception check.
Ooh.
Oh.
Goodbye, my lover. What is my deception? That's the wrong sheet. Can I please have my deception? Fuck's sake. Don't go into the thing. 14.
All right, okay. So the guard, he's nodding and he's kind of like taking notes in his journal. He's like, all right, okay. Just a few more questions. Do you happen to know what a drowned one is?
Do I look like I know what a fucking drowned one is?
Don't get testy with me, Halfling. Just answer the question.
No, I don't know what a drowned one is.
All right. What about a marked one? Does that mean anything to you?
Of course it does. No.
All right. In that case, and he kind of reaches to his belt, putting his journal down. He takes out a scroll and he unfurls it, and he slides it towards you, and he says, "What about this symbol? Does this mean anything to you?" And as it comes forward, Ozla, I would like you to make me a really quick history check with advantage.
How do I roll with advantage?
You roll twice and you use the highest number.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. History. Where is my history? It's right there, and it's not good. I dropped it. This one's a 2. No!
Wait, that was with advantage? Okay. Oh no. Oh god. Oh Christ.
Oh god, oh no.
Oh, the 3. The audacity!
Okay.
Wow.
She's probably like a little concussed or like a little like
Okay. So
Did you get her ass beat?
So
Yeah.
the symbol that you see on the scroll before you is kind of like this angular spiral, kind of like clawed into the paper almost, but you don't really recognize that one.
No, did you draw that, mate? I mean, it's not very good. You might need some practice.
The guard's gonna like stare at you and then roll the scroll back up, and he's like, "All right, what about this one?" And he takes out another scroll and unfurls that. And this symbol, you most certainly do recognize. You have seen it ever since you were a little girl living on the Needle. It is a symbol well known to the denizens of the Menagerie Coast. It is a symbol well known to pirates and sailors and anyone who travels the open seas. Staring at you from the paper, a big yellow circle with an abyss-like black slit down the middle is the Eye of Uk'otoa.
Oh, Ugato.
Ozla is gonna sort of like look at it, like put her hand on the paper and be like, and then cut her eyes at him and be like, "Where did you find that?"
Answer the question. Do you know what this is?
I might, mate. But where did you find it?
I'm the one asking the fucking questions, Halfling.
Sorry. She sort of like giggles a little bit, and then she tilts her head to the side of it and says, "You know, you're not meant to have this. Did you get this from someone?"
Answer the fucking question,
Oh, for fuck's sake!
or I'm gonna have all your little friends out in the lobby put into a cell for the night.
It's only known to pirates. It's basically a children's story, mate. It doesn't mean anything. It's the Eye of the Leviathan.
Fuck's the Leviathan?
Fuck if I know. It's a story. I don't know what it's about, but there's some of us think it's real. I don't know why they think it's real.
You saying you worship this thing? This Leviathan?
Not me. I don't worship shit. I've heard of people worshipping it, but I don't know fuck all about it.
Alright. You understand, that there's a set pantheon that is to be worshipped within Imperial borders. And this Ukatoa, or this Leviathan, whatever you call it, it's not one of them. So, I'm gonna ask you again. Do you, or do you not, recognize this picture? He says, and he kind of says it in a way, and he kind of says it in like a leading way, like, don't say yes.
It's so tempting to say yes. Shit, how do I do that? She sort of just like tilts her head at him, and she's like, "It's a children's story. I don't recognize it."
Alright. And he rolls up the scroll, and he stands up. You're free to go for now. If we find out anything else through the investigation, we'll let you know. Just a moment. And he kind of like reaches into his bag, and he produces a pouch and tosses it over to you. You have to stay at the leaky tap within Zadash borders for the next 3 days or so. Understood?
Where is it?
It's in the center of Zadash. That'll pay for your room and board.
All right then. I mean, all right. Fuck yeah. All right.
You're free to leave the leaky tap at any point you wish, but if you leave Zadash's borders, you will be shot on sight.
Well, that's fucking fine. Wait, does this pay for food as well?
Sorry, what you cut out there for me for a second.
She goes like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And then she turns back around and goes, "Wait, does this pay for food as well?"
Aye, room, board, all according to the Empire.
All right, she holds up and she goes, "All right, mate, bye," and then just walks out.
Out of the locked door.
She bangs her head on the door.
Yeah.
Make a strength check.
Please,
Rip out its hinges!
I beg. Oh, what's my strength?
Head on the
20,
door down.
nat 20, nat
Please,
20,
head on the door
nat
down.
20.
Please. Come on.
Break it
Wait,
down.
where the fuck is my strength? Oh, there.
What was it?
Oh no, Sophie.
What was it?
What was it?
What?
20!
Yes!
Natural?
Yes!
No, not natural. It added up to 20.
A dirty, nasty, stinky 20.
Okay. So,
Stinky 20.
oh my god. Okay.
Like the Terminator.
She leaves an Ozla-shaped hole in the door.
So Sophie, as Ozla makes for the door and reaches up to turn the knob, which again is locked, the captain, the tiefling, kind of like raises his hand to like stop you, but there is a horrible moaning of like twisted metal as you turn the knob, as you force the tumblers inside the door out of total shape with just like all the strength that your little halfling body has to muster, kind of without sort of without realizing it, without realizing your own strength. And as you open the door, the knob kind of comes away in your hand.
She turns around with like ruined knob in her hands, and she looks and goes, "But you didn't want to make me mad, did you?"
The captain's just standing there like, can I have the knob back?
She sort of just like tosses it to him and goes,
He catches it.
Oh my God.
And he's like looking at it in disbelief, and he like looks at you as you go. Like, I should have questioned her more, but but back at the ranch, Gesh, Fenkin, Nox, and Dhuur'in, you watch as Ozla makes her jovial way down the hallway, hammer and shield kind of strapped over her back, I'm assuming.
Mm.
I think I was just gonna like wave and like jingle the money, just like guys,
Fenkin stands up and like rushes up like 2 steps because I'm guessing the guards are still sort of blocking his way. And just kind of, are you okay? Are you okay?
Absolute fucking agate. Do I look like I get, I'm okay? Look, they even gave me money.
He stops, pauses, looks at her up and down, sees that she's okay, and then he sort of pauses at the money, and he's just like, I'm not gonna question it.
Did you miss me?
Oh, shut up.
As soon as say, "Did you miss me?" Princess on Gesh's neck. He was kind of like laying. You know how like a cat will lay draped over something? That's kind of like what Princess was doing on Gesh's neck. But as soon as you as soon as you speak, Ozla, his ears kind of prick up, and he kind of drowsily looks up, and then his raccoon eyes bulge, and he scampers down Gesh's torso, and scampers over to you.
My baby. She sort of like she sees Princess coming and she like scoots down and goes, "I know you, miss."
I forgot to mention it last campaign, but every time Ozla holds Princess up by like the armpits or whatever, it kind of looks like how like a really little kid holds a cat. Like the cat is almost like the same size as them, So eventually though, the captain does come out and he's like, "Remember that cash is for the leaky tap. I'll go get your room ready if I were you."
Alright, thanks, mate. And she's just gonna like tuck Princess under her arm and like waddle over the group.
So, is everybody following her?
With my head low.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as this very colorful group leaves the King's Hall, almost immediately as you step outside into the sunshine, onto the nice white paved cobblestone streets, you're immediately propositioned by a child. They're standing before you is...
Whoa!
What?
That's
What?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, okay.
We're all startled by the child.
Okay, anyway. So, kind of with their hands on their hips, there's kind of like this young half-elf boy with short orange hair that's kind of swept to the back. And he's got this big old grin on his face. And he's like, "You all look new in town, don't you?"
Sorry, I was writing notes.
Oh yeah, notes. Fuck.
Pointedly not looking at the little boy.
Fenkin sort of freezes and just like stares at the child. He doesn't make a move. He's just like.
No one in this group is good with kids. After what I assume to be a very startled moment of tense silence, Nox will nod at the kid, looking slightly uncomfortable, and say, yes.
So Nox, as soon as you speak, his eyes kind of like flick over to you, and they widen even more, and he's like, "You're a fucking Tabaxi, aren't you?"
she sighs a little bit, in like an "oh, here we go" kind of a way, and she's like, "Actually, I am an elf. This is just a very convincing suit."
He kind of like tilts his head, and without asking, he reaches out and like touches your arm, and he's like, "It feels real."
Oh my God!
She hisses a little bit.
Furry.
There are no furries in this universe.
So stepping back.
Not yet.
So stepping back, he puts his hands back on his hips and he says, "Well, my name's Zilbin, and I am the official greet for Zadash. And only for 7 silver coins, I'll take you around the city and I'll show you what there is to do."
Get lost.
Dhuur'in shuffles to stand behind Gesh.
And he shoots a glare at Gesh, like.
Tiny rolled. Can't even tie his fucking shoelace.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can I get the kid's name again, real quick, for my notes?
Zilbin.
Zildin. That's a name.
Zilbin.
Okay. Sorry.
I want
Go on.
Fenkin to sort of like step in between the child and Gesh, sort of give Gesh another glare, which they have exchanged a couple of times by now, I imagine. And then it sort of like turns and looks down at the child and says, "You will find no business here. Now run along."
Oh.
Zilbin
Get
kinda
lost,
like,
but in a nicer way.
Zilbin kind of shrugs and is like, "All right, you get lost and robbed, it's on you, not on me." And he turns around and starts making his way away from you, like maybe kind of checking over your shoulder to see if you guys are like having second thoughts.
Poor kid.
Like...
M, you are really frozen.
Oh.
I was gonna say she's been sat like this.
Oh no! Wait, hold on.
Oh, you're not frozen for me.
Turn your camera on and off.
I'm trying, hold on.
There we go. All right.
Hello?
There she is.
So you watch this. You watch as this boy kind of like is hesitantly walking away, kind of like checking over his shoulder.
Fenkin like looks at him, looks away, looks at him, looks away, looks visibly torn in his decision. Because he knows what it's like to be a young half-elf in a very maybe not so welcoming country or place. And he looks at Ozla almost as if begging for help. Like
Ozla, like, she sort of puts Princess down and she like looks at the satchel of money they've got for room and board. Is that for everyone?
Yeah, it covers room and board for everybody.
And she like shakes it a little bit and then she like looks over at the kid and she goes, "Can we get a discount?"
Zilbin kind of stops and like very dramatically turns around, kind of like stroking his chin, and he's like, "Well, maybe if I can hold the raccoon." And he points at Princess, who's kind of like sitting at your feet, Sophie.
Also like looks down at Princess, like, do you want to do this, sweetheart? And and then after a minute, she looks back at the kid and she says, "Just don't pinch them. Do not pinch Princess." And then she like picks Princess up and like sort of hands her to Sylvan.
Princess, meanwhile, especially after you ask the question, just kind of does this. Just like one eye blinking at a time. And no visible reaction from Princess as you pick him up and hand him over. Zilbin, however, seems completely enthralled with what appears to be a tame raccoon, and kind of like cradles him like the biggest, fattest cat you've ever seen. And despite your demands, Ozla, he does kind of like pinch an ear and kind of like bend it back and forth a bit. Princess seems fine with it though. Kind of like how pets who have been around children their entire life are just like, whatever.
No. As Sylvan is holding Princess, Ozza sort of leans in and goes, "I'll let you hold the raccoon the entire time if you give us a tour for free."
Ooh,
he kind of like
making a deal.
He seemed totally enthralled by Princess. He does eventually nod, not really like listening to you at all. And he's like, "All right, follow me." And he turns around with Princess in his arms.
What can I roll to sense his motive? I don't know if that's a mechanic in D&D.
Insight.
That would be an insight check, yeah.
Can we adopt him?
This is the pie child.
I want a half-elf baby.
I gotta pull my sheet up.
I did forget to mention, he seems to be about like maybe 13 years old in human years, and
okay.
He is like dirty, like he's been playing in the dirt all day, but his clothes don't suggest like, not poor, but not super well off either. Kind of like in the median range thereabouts.
He's not young enough. He's not young enough to be cute.
Okay, I'm gonna try to roll an insight check to see if this kid is gonna lead us into danger.
Okay.
He's just. Please don't kill us.
His ulterior motive was the raccoon all along.
I got a 3. I know nothing. I'm too scared.
You can't even look at him.
So
You radiate that
holy
kid.
shit! What is wrong with your guys' rolls today? Anyway, Dhuur'in, as you peer at this child, you feel the might of your patron's power crackling all around you to give you insight into the soul of this child. It's a fucking child, and you're an idiot.
Hey, I'm nervous. I'm not welcome here. I don't know why a child would willingly walk up to me unless it's to send me to my death.
That's fair.
So so the tour begins, and while he can't show you the entire city because that would take like multiple days, and and he's not wearing any shoes. He does take you to some nearby attractions, and full disclosure, this is me kind of like laying out what you guys can do today before you head to the Leaky Tavern if you want to. But the one of the first stops that he takes you to seems to be a large building of stained wood with green gold velvet hanging on the outside. There's slits of glass in each of the doors that reveals a warm lit interior glowing from the inside out. Above these doors, carved delicately into the wood placard, is the name of the establishment. And that name is the Invulnerable Vagrant.
Ooh.
And Zilbin kind of comes to a stop right out here. And he's like, So this is one of the best. This is one of the best shops in the town, especially if you like magical items. But I bet a group of adventurers like you like magical items, don't you? And he kind of like wiggles his eyebrows, and Princess kind of looks up and sees him do that, and kind of like does the raccoon equivalent of that too. He makes his way over to the door and he says, "The owner actually gives me little treats for bringing people in. So you want to come in and see what they got?"
Sure,
Nox
yeah.
is very interested. She is. She is ears up, tail up. Yes.
She gets in first.
Yeah, she pushes the kid aside and goes in first.
So as you shove the child aside,
13.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you?
Right.
So as you guys make your way into the shop, the first room, it's a very well lit room, and that's because there are a series of lanterns that are hanging, but not by any hooks or by any strings or anything. These are lanterns that are free floating through the air. Every now and then they'll kind of like clink together and kind of like float away from one another as if they're like bubbles of soap. But it seems that they're absolutely magically suspended. The walls are covered with shelves upon shelves of items and books and all sorts of things in jars. It's pretty much a just bacchanalia of magical paraphernalia. I've been wanting to say that all day.
Yeah, I know. We can tell.
Can Gesh hold his staff up to stop the lanterns hitting each other, just to test what happens?
As you reach your staff up till as two lanterns seem like they're going to come into close contact, they stop just like inches away from the staff, circle it, and then move away.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, damn it.
And there is kind of a counter near the back, and as you guys look over, you hear kind of like a deep humming, and you see someone's butt kind of like shaking on the other side of the counter, like they're kind of like bending over to look at something under the counter. And as they stand up, you see a very plump blue furbolg with a very kind-looking face and a set of brass goggles on his forehead. And he's wearing some plain white clothes along with an apron. And as soon as he sees you, he kind of like looks up from the thing he's holding. He's like, "Oh, well, hi there."
Oh,
The voice.
that's a Firbolg voice. Nox is in heaven.
I'd like to welcome you to my fine establishment. This, of course, is the enchanted, invulnerable vagrant of the city of Zadash, and I am its fine owner. You may call me Pumat Soul. Hey?
What?
What's that name? What's that name again?
Pumat Soul.
One more again.
Pumat Soul.
How do you spell it?
Christ in a handbasket. PUMATSOL.
Cool. I love that for him.
He's got kind of like this warm, almost medicated smile, and like his eyes they seem a bit glassy, but also a little focused.
Big mood.
And he kind of like, he sets down like a leather satchel that he was working on, and he puts his hand on the counter. He's like, like I said, I am an enchanter Pumat Soul. Welcome to my establishment. Is there anything that you were looking for? Is there anything I can help you find, eh?
Nox basically cuts him off before he even gets out his final A. And she like bounds over to him basically, and she's like kitty eyes blown out, like excited. And she's like and she just kind of like gets in his face a little bit because she's like a little bit overexcited maybe. And she's like, "Where did you get all these items from?"
Oh, you got some big old saucer eyes, don't you? What's your name? And it kind of sticks out a big old hand for you to shake.
She like blinks for a second because she wasn't expecting to like be addressed like that. So she like takes a second. She's like, oh, and then she looks down at his hand and then she kind of shakes it quickly, like a little bit harder than she normally would, and she just says, "Nuts. Are these singly sourced items, or are they from all over?"
Oh, we don't get a lot of Tabaxi here. I don't think I've ever seen one of you come through my doors. Well, every item here has either been created and curated by yours truly, Pumat Soul, or I have found it on my travels all throughout the country of Wildemont, and sometimes in the other continents as well. However, everything here that you find here is either magical or useful in some arcane manner.
But some of them are from far and wide, you say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here, take a look at this. And he kind of reaches under and he pulls out a jar. And inside that jar seems to be a floating eyeball that blinks at you. And he's like, I don't even remember where I got this one.
Okay, is it an actual eyeball?
It's an actual eyeball, yes.
Disgusting. Max just like, she looks like interested. The progression of emotions on her face are interested, surprised, and then slightly disturbed as she looks at this item. But then she just kind of is like, okay. And then she looks back to him and she says, so there must be some items here, perhaps of legend, or at least of very high value.
Oh, I like to think that we got a little something for everybody here, be you big, small, fuzzy, or not. And he kind of and he kind of like sweeps his hand down. And he's like, "You're welcome to browse as long as you want, but do keep in mind that I am kind of running a business here. So try not to break anything, because if you break it, you buy it."
Yes, of course, of course.
And what else? What else? Oh, hang on. Hey, Pumat, can you help me out here really quick? And he calls out towards a door that's kind of behind him, behind the counter, and another figure lumbers out who looks exactly like him. It seems like there's two of the same furbolg. And he lumbers out and he's like, "Oh, hey, Pumat, what do you need?" And he's like, "Oh, these fine fellows out here, they're gonna be browsing our store, and I need to head back really quick to check on some of our curations. Do you think you could help them out with anything that we need?" It's like, "Oh, sure, I can do that, Pumat, not a problem." And the first Pumat looks back at Nox and he's like, "All right, I'll be right back. Pumat here will help you out with anything you need." And he kind of lumbers away to be replaced with the second Pumat. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Pumat Soul. I am the proprietor and owner of the Invulnerable Vagrant. Is there anything I can help you find today?"
During this exchange, Nox has just been watching, and like an encroaching look of sheer startled confusion has been growing on her face, and she just kind of like looks at one and then looks at where the other one just disappeared, and then looks back at the one that's here, and then she's like, I am just browsing. Thank you."
He looks like he's about to say something, but before he does, a Pumat pokes his head out from the door again, and then another Pumat head pokes its head out the door right above that one. He's like, and the one on the bottom says, "Hey Pumat, do you know where we got that latest shipment of basic health potions?" And the one on top is like, "Yeah, I put the crate down somewhere, but I can't find it." And the Pumat at the counter, he says, "Oh yeah, I moved that to the back with the rest of the glassware. You'll find it there in the back." And both Pumats go at the same time. Okay, and they go back through the door. But right now, you guys are free to browse the store as you as shopping goes. You're also free to ask Pumat any questions if you have them.
I would like to tepidly browse the books.
Okay, so as you all kind of split off to do your own shopping, Dhuur'in, you make your way over to the books, and Pumat, he kind of watches you, not in like any suspicious way. In fact, the smile has not left his face during this entire conversation. And as you make your way, there's a lot of books here, and you kind of make your way towards a darker corner of the room. And as you do, the whispers that you are so akin to hearing, they begin to start up again. And,
Oh, Christ.
You hear them in the very back of your mind, like a tickle, just like. And as this happens, though, your eyes are kind of like sweeping across the different spines of the books, both new and very ancient, to try and like take your mind off of them. But there's a moment where a yellow book with a gold spine crosses your vision, and as soon as you see it, the whispers stop. It's like, and as you look away from it, the whispers start up again. And they stop as you look at this book.
I want to touch its spine.
Touch it.
So as you reach out to take it, suddenly, in your field of vision is Pumat's smiling face. He's like, "Hey, you looking for any specific tomes or novels, or are you just browsing around?"
He startles away from the book, like, oh. And then he'll compose himself and like slowly pull the book out by like the very top of the edge of the spine and kind of peer at the cover of the book without addressing Pumat too.
Pumat dose.
So Pumat watches as you slowly pull out the book, and he looks at it and he's like, "Oh, I know this one. Oh, this is a good one, eh?" And he takes it off the shelf for you, and he holds it up to show you, and you see on the cover is kind of like an emblazoned lion's head, a sigil of a lion's head, and the title of the book. Let me get my notes. Why aren't my notes open? Jesus fucking Christ, Google Drive. Hi, my name's Google Drive. I take 5 minutes to load one fucking document. There we go. Okay. So there is no author, but the title in black lettering stands out to you, Dhuur'in, and you can read it because of your special the little special feat that you got at level 2. Warlocks are pretty sweet. You read the words: "The sin of the lion and the virtue of the viper." And with a big blue finger, Pumat Soul taps the cover and he's like, "Yeah, I got this one a while back. Had a couple read-throughs myself. Pretty good book. You want to take a look at it before you buy?"
He'll nod, take the book, and open it.
And Pumat hands it over, and he kind of nods, and there's kind of like a knowing look in his eyes. And as he hands it over, he says, "You know, I'm always happy to help people find books. Sometimes it seems like there's certain books that people are supposed to read sometimes. And sometimes people need help finding those books. You know what I mean? Well, let me know if you need anything else, okay?" And he pats you on your head and turns around and makes his way down the aisle. And I'm assuming you're reading the book, right? Okay, so as you kind of skim the book itself, you find that it's hard to tell if this is like a historical or a fictional occurrence, but you can tell that it's the story of a elven gunfighter who goes by the name of the Man with the Golden Gun. And the story itself is about an elf who blazed a trail through Wildemount, wielding a fantastical weapon unlike anything ever seen before back in those days. And essentially, he rode through the untamed wilderness, discovering settlements and finding new peoples and bringing down wicked beasts and wicked men alike. And it also begins to tell the story of another figure, another gunfighter, one by the name of the Man in the Green Jacket. And the story itself seems to end a bit abruptly after these two men seem to meet. And you notice as you read it, there are no whispers. There are no headaches. There's just you and the story. And on the final page, Dhuur'in, as you turn it, there once again is the sigil of the lion's head. And in common script, which you can read now, in gold lettering, it says, "Seek me now, seek the dawn." And below that, it says, "Seek the dawn that will banish the dark."
A pause while we all write it down.
He squints at it really, really hard. It's become uncomfortable for him that all of the whispers are gone, because those are the tidings of his great dark god. He feels as if it's almost blasphemous for him to have held this book for so long. So he'll kind of commit these words to memory, remembering the man with the golden gun and the man with the green jacket. Think about Karn just a little bit. Recall the blessings that he did give him and the amulet of Palor that he is wearing still. And then he'll close the book.
Is he taking the book with him, or?
Well, how much does it cost?
You'll have to find out.
Oh. Okay.
He'll go and slink over to Pomat 2, kind of, gliding across the floor as he does, holding this closed book, like kind of out to him, and ask him the cost.
Pumat looks to you and he says, "Whoa, you speak that undercommon, do you?" And he switches to undercommon flawlessly. And he's like, "So normally I don't like to give discounts to people I've never met before, but you seem like a nice group of folks. So why don't we just go ahead and just call that 5 gold pieces, huh?"
Considers it, looks at the book, thinks about his god, looks at the book, and nods.
"All right, we'll call that a sale then." And he takes the book and kind of like writes a receipt on a piece of parchment and kind of like slides it into the book. And he reaches under the counter and he pulls out kind of like an embossed little like bookmark with his face on it that says "The Invulnerable Vagrant." And he says, "And this is free with every book you get." And he slips that in there for you too. So go ahead and remove from your inventory 5 gold and add to your inventory the sin of the lion and the virtue of the viper. And while this is happening, what is everybody else doing?
Nax is gone. You might occasionally catch a glimpse of a tail here and there as she digs her way through everything, but she is gone.
Oh my god, I just remembered. Ozla has the necklace still.
Yeah, she still has her necklace.
Still has the necklace. Ozla's gonna she's gonna. Are there any barrels nearby that she can try and climb into?
There are no, there are no barrels. There are, however, as you're walking around, a pumat comes out with a stool in hand, a little pink stool that's been painted pink.
Oh my god!
And he comes around. He comes around the counter. He comes. For those of you not in the know, Sophie is very short and has this little stool she needs to reach her trash bin.
Sophie's bin stool.
Anyway, so
I am traumatized.
Oh my god, it's the end.
Everything's gonna be done. Right.
So
Oh my god.
And everyone else is gonna go away, and suddenly there'll be nothing anymore.
So the fourth or so pumat that you've seen so far, he makes his way around the corner and he sets the stool down off in a corner and he's like, "This is here if you need it." And he makes his way back through the corner and through the door.
Ozla sort of just like nods at him and then leans down to pick it up. And as she leans down to grab it, the necklace swings out from under like her shirt, and she just sort of remembers, and she like grabs and goes, "Hang on a minute, wait!"
The pumat who just made his way through the door, he sticks his head out, and 3 more pumat heads stick out as well. And at the same time, they all say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah."
She sort of like she blinks and then she slowly like starts to undo it and then she holds it out and she goes, can one of you hang on. Can one of you tell me what this is? Can any of you check on this?
The pumat on the bottom is like, "Oh yeah, I can do that. You guys can go ahead and go on break." And they go, "Thanks, pumat," and they disappear. And
I live here. Can I live here?
The other pumat makes his way over, and he puts his hand on the counter as you put the necklace down, and he picks it up and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah. Are you looking for an appraisal? Because that's gonna cost about 10 gold pieces."
Oh yeah, y'all don't know that he just got a discount.
The cheek of it. Ozla sort of goes like, "Hang on a minute," and then she turns around and she just both hands around her face. No!
Oh, you're a loud one, aren't you?
From a far corner of the room, behind a wooden mannequin that is dressed in armor, and several piles of disturbed items that have been plucked from shelves, Knox's head pops up. And Sophie leaves to get something out of the oven, probably.
She leaves at like the worst times.
I know!
Well, yeah, it happens.
Sometimes you gotta get stuff out of your oven, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mom called.
Oh, you're fine.
What was that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Recap that.
Knox just poked her head out of a comically large pile of objects.
As soon as like Oz sees Knox's head just go, she sort of like come here.
Knox looks doubtfully at something that she is holding, which is probably like, I don't know, a cool dagger that she found that she's been pawing for the past couple minutes, and then looks back at Oz, and then she kind of she picks her way through the small mess that she's made to come over, and she's like dusting herself off, and she's like, "Yes, what is it?"
Hang on, I've got my glasses stuck in my fucking hair.
You're fine.
It's a mess tonight. I've lost my train of thought. Ozla, like, once Nox has, like, come over, she sort of, like, pats at the necklace and goes, "This was yours, right? This was yours. He's saying we have to pay 10 gold to figure out what it is." Oh, fucking hell.
Nox kind of tilts her head a little bit, and then, like, her eyes light up, because she's like, oh yeah, shit, that's my pendant. And then she'll look at it, and then she looks up at the Firbolg, and then she'll say, "Ah, yes, of course. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about this pendant that I found."
Whoa,
See,
you got a story for me? I love stories. What do you got?
Yes, of course, and perhaps this will help you, although I'm sure that you are already very educated and could figure all this out on your own.
Oh, stop.
But this pendant, you see, it was procured from the Pride's Call, and it was originally just a mere necklace, bought on a whimsy, of course, lawfully so.
Of course.
And in our travels with it, I have become curious as to its origin, as you have guessed. Much like yourself, sir, I am a peruser of the curious and the rare. And I put this pendant on because I sensed that it was magical in origin. And it seems to be associated with some sort of small creature. But the nature of the creature I am unaware of. And I get the sense that in order to help this creature, perhaps, I must simply know more about him. So any way that you could help, kind sir, would really be appreciated.
Yep.
Pumat thinks for a second, and he's like, "Okay, so what you're saying is whenever you put this here necklace on, that you see a little creature. Is that what you're trying to tell me?"
In so many words, yes.
Make a persuasion check for me, real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Doop, 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 doop. Persuasion. That is a 23.
Okay, all right. So Pumat nods and he's like, "Well, all right. I'll just knock it down to 5 gold pieces. How's that sound?"
Yeah. She kind of like she takes both of her paws and she puts them over her heart, like, "Oh, thank you, sir. This is such a kindness. I will not forget this." And she pulls out her gold her coin purse, which I may say has almost 100 gold in it already. So she really didn't need this discount, but she does count out 5 gold coins and then offer them to the Firbolg and then just say, "Anything at all that you can tell me, sir. It would be so helpful."
"Oh, absolutely, no problem." And he picks up the gold pieces, which look tiny in his huge hands. And, he does put them away in a pouch, and laying the necklace out, he closes his eyes and puts his hands over them, and you hear, "Roderunde vu esarak derundebak," and his eyes open, and they're glowing a bright blue. And you watch as he looks over the amulet, and he's nodding, and when he blinks again, his eyes go back to normal, and the smile finally drops.
Oh, that's not
And
good.
he says, "Oh, now that's so sad.
Oh, no.
Well, what I can tell you is that this necklace is indeed possessed in a certain form of the word, not so much by any ghost or demon simulacra of any kind, more of a nature spirit. Tell me, do you know what a chwinga is?"
A chwinga.
Chwinga, yeah.
Can I roll a history check to see if I know what that is?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that'd be. Actually, I'm gonna
Or
make
would that be
a
nature?
nature check.
I thought you already did, and that's how we learned that it was the amulet of the lonely Twinga.
No, he just told me that that's what it was called.
Yeah.
In character, I don't think she knows that that's what it's called.
As soon as you hear the word Twinga, yeah,
check
go ahead
my
and make me.
notes.
As soon as you hear the word Twinga, yeah, go ahead and make me a history check.
No better than history, by the way. They're the exact same, so it would be. It's a bad roll, probably either way. That's a 9.
Okay, you have no idea what a Twinga is. You've never heard
Okay.
the word Twinga before.
Okay. She thinks for a second, kind of rolls her eyes up, and after a couple of moments, she just shakes her head and says, "No."
Okay, well, a Twinga is essentially a sort of a forest spirit, a kind of representation of the order that is found within the trees and the rocks and the streams. Basically, an idea of nature of sorts. And they can be found just about anywhere, but only really represent themselves to a chosen few. Now, this here amulet lets you see them, but for a price, you see.
A price?
Yeah, see, you see this little part right here, and he holds up like the white mask part of the pendant.
Yes.
This right here is actually the mask of a Chwinga, and it is bound by its mask. And the and a, and from what I can tell, the Chwinga that you are seeing every time that you put on this here amulet is not the same Chwinga, but a Chwinga who is also attached to the mask. And from what I can tell, there's one Chwinga that has been trapped in this necklace, to be precise, and there's another Chwinga who has been following it around.
So you are saying that the Chwinga that has been following us is seeking the Chwinga that is in this necklace.
Well, I can't say that for sure. Trying to guess a Chwinga's motives is about as difficult as trying to guess the weather or trying to know where the seas are going to turn. But if you're willing, I can perform a little ritual you see here, and while it will give you some answers, I'm afraid it is going to no longer give you access to the necklace.
Do you mean it will be destroyed?
Not destroyed per se. I can undo the trap, you see.
Undo the trap.
Sam.
And what would become of the necklace then? It would be unenchanted, perhaps.
Well, you would have a nice piece of string left over.
Nox looks very, very conflicted. Very conflicted. Because she does know that, probably the noble thing to do would be to unbind this creature. And she does remember the moment where she first met the Chwinga and it touched its mask to the mask on the pendant. And she kind of sees that in a new light now, recognizing that maybe that was a moment of longing if there are these two spirits that are separated from each other in this way. But at the same time, it's a dope necklace and it's pretty and it's probably worth a lot of money. And she's like, oh my god.
She is chaotic.
She is chaotic and she's not chaotic good. So she looks at it for a while and then she kind of takes a long sigh and then she looks at Ozla and says, what would you do?
See, I still think you're on drugs, mate. But,
Oh, I've got those too if you want some, by the way.
Dhuur'in's head peeks up like, huh?
Oh?
Fenkin just rushes over like, no. We're good. She's good. She's good. She doesn't need
what did you say? didn't hear
He
it.
tried to sell you drugs.
Oh. But she can see like the look on Nox's face, and she just like tilts her head at Nox and goes, "Whatever's best, really. I can't imagine doing something that's gonna, hurt yourself in the end."
Nox makes this exasperated sound as if she was expecting to be told what to do and is disappointed that she was not told what to do. So after a couple of moments, she just like gets this kind of frustrated look on her face, and she shakes her head, and then she like sort of aggressively pushes it at Ozla and says, "This is yours now. You do what you want with it. I do not want to know. I do not want to be responsible for its loss."
Ozla pushes it back and goes, "No, it was yours first."
This entire time, Pumat has just been like,
changing it back and forth.
Fine. Dhuur'in will skulk up with his new book and say, "Free the creature."
Nox looks at him, and her ears droop a little bit, and she's like, "Fine. Yes, I give you permission to unbind the creature."
"Okie dokie, I am gonna need some help, so just one second." And he kind of steps back. He kind of steps back through the door, and out he comes back again about a minute or so later with another Pumat. The other Pumat is holding in each hand two white wax candles, and the first Pumat kind of like rolls out a piece of paper, and he starts drawing like a little pentagram on it with a piece of chalk. And as he's doing that, the other Pumat is weighing down the corners of the scroll with the candles. And every time he puts a candle down, he snaps, and the wick comes to light. So eventually, there's this kind of like little impromptu altar, and with your permission, he gently takes the necklace. He takes the mask itself and kind of gently undoes the string, which he hands back to you, because cats like string. And
that's true. She gives it a single half-hearted, sad bat, and then she takes it.
So he sets the mask down in the center of the pentagram, and he brings his hands over it like he did when he was performing the ritual of performing the ritual beforehand. But his eyes close again, and this time when they open, they're a verdant green. And I kind of want to wait until Sophie comes back.
And Sophie is gone.
And Sophie's back. Anyway, so his eyes open and they're a verdant green, and he's waving his hands in a very slow, graceful manner. And the brass bell that was by the door, it starts to ring as a gentle breeze from nowhere starts to blow through the entire establishment. Gesh, maybe you're somewhere in the back, kind of thumbing through a book, and suddenly like the breeze kind of like turns a couple pages for you, and you're just like, what the fuck? Some of the lanterns are a bit disturbed, and you watch as the little white pendant with the black markings begins to spin and spin and spin, and to everybody but Nox, it vanishes. Nox, however, when you blink, you watch as two small figures manifest on the paper. One is the Chwinga you know, and the other is another Chwinga, a bit similar to the other one, but with different white patterns on its body, and maybe with like tendril-like hair on its head. And you see these two creatures. They're kind of like tilting their heads at each other. Before the original Chwinga reaches out with its two fingerless hands, and the other one copies its movement, and they touch hands. They touch their two little hands, and slowly they knock their two masks together as they kind of embrace each other in the smallest, tiniest hug that you've ever seen in your life. And slowly they begin to shift and meld into this kind of like black smoke until finally the smoke dissipates, and sitting on the paper before you all is a golden rose.
Golden.
And with the ritual over, Pumat's eyes blink back to normal, and he kind of shakes his head like, ooh, that one was a doozy, ooh. Oh, would you look at that? And he picks up the rose, and he admires it for a second before holding it out to Nox, and he's like, I think that's your answer right there.
Despite my squealing, Nox hasn't been quite as enamored with this objectively very cute display. Although she did kind of like give a sigh, like an okay, fine, sure, fine, I did the right thing sort of sigh. But she does perk up a little bit at the appearance of the gold rose. It's something. It's certainly a glittery something, so that's a plus. And then she reaches out and she kind of has her head tilted a little bit and she grabs it with two fingers and she says, is this what they became?
As soon as you take it in your hands, Nox, it feels incredibly light, almost as if you're holding nothing at all. And very slowly, it begins to turn to dust before your eyes. It starts to crackle away until it's nothing. However, there is a warmth that you feel traveling down your arm and then into your chest. And I would now like you to pick one of your stats and raise it by 1.
Yes. Okay.
Yay!
It's yes. All right. Oh God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna raise? One of my stats? One of my abilities?
Well, yeah, either strength, constitution, dexterity, wisdom, charisma, or intelligence.
I'm gonna give myself a single intelligence point because I had 10.
All right.
now I have 11. I'm still at +0. I'm pretty
That's
sure.
Still
but
+0, but still.
Yeah, we're getting there.
You solved the Twinga puzzle.
Yay! Now I'm smarter. She was, by the way, she was absolutely crushed when she saw the gold rose disappear. One intelligence point or not, that is not worth losing out on some gold.
Yeah, Pumat watches it turn to dust, and he's like, "Oh, that's unfortunate. You know what? I was gonna charge you the standard fee for a ritual like that, but after all of that, I don't think I could, in good conscience, charge you for that."
She's looking at her now empty paw and just like quietly, sullenly, without looking over at him, she says, "I appreciate it."
Oh, hey, that's not a problem. What I can offer you is we've got buy 2 get 1 free on health potions right now. So
she kind of sighs. Yeah, she sighs and she's like, "Yes, very well. Yes, show me the potions."
Okay, just a second. And he kind of like clears away the little ritual site, and he takes out a basic health potion, which to you is a red liquid in a bulbous glass. And he's like, "Okay, so these are 50 gold a piece, but if you buy 2, you will be getting 1 free. For a total of 3 basic health potions. Now, again, they are basic. I do have some more expensive health potions, but there is no sale on those, and they do happen to be a bit more expensive. But for a group of travelers like you, I think a basic health potion is going to be the way to go to start out with."
Oh shit.
Do you want some of Dhuur'in's gold to help pay for the health potions?
That's his thing now.
Yeah, sorry, 1 second. My character sheet is doing weird things. Okay. Yeah, so she puts her, after a long moment of looking at her empty paw, she eventually puts it down. And she does look mildly offended at the price. 50 gold.
Dhuur'in will put 50 gold on the counter for one of them.
Seeing that, she will sigh and say, "Okay, yes, we will take 2." And she pulls 50 gold out of her own purse.
Okay, fantastic. Just a second here, and he takes out from under the counter, kind of like a scaled weight, and he takes all the gold and kind of places it on one hand, on one of the little plates, and he takes another one. He takes a weight of a certain size. He kind of checks the inscription on the bottom before setting it on the other weight, and he looks really closely as he watches the two weights balance themselves out, and he's like, "Okay, that looks just fine to me. Just 1 second." And he dips off to the back and comes back with 3 health potions. And he sets them all on the table one by one. He's like, "Okay, that's 1, that's 2, and there's your free one right there. And they come with specially made, reusable, invulnerable vagrant glass bottles. So you get to use those however you want after these are empty. There you go."
What a deal.
And the bottles do
Reduce,
have
reuse, recycle.
and the bottles do have like in gold leaf on the front, like IV for invulnerable vagrant in the front, kind of like stylized. So it
Oh,
is kind of
that's
like a
very
nice
fancy.
little collectible item. But
Yeah.
while this is happening, Gesh, what are you doing, buddy?
Okay.
Yeah, while all that is happening off somewhere else, Gesh is just flipping through, like I said before, Gesh is flipping through a couple of books. He's trying to find some that show the history of Zadash to see, just trying to find out more about the city he's in. And every now and then, he sort of glances back towards where the kid is to make sure that they've not just run off somewhere.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Okay. I can't see this going well, but I'll try. With my plus,
Do any of us have any intelligence?
I have 13.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I have 9.
I have a
You
plus
have,
1.
you have a -1 to your intelligence, Sophie?
So,
Yeah?
I have a plus.
hang on, let me check. I've got -1 to something.
If you have a 9, that's a -1, yeah.
Well, that's an 8. So
Okay, well, fortunately for you, Gesh, this isn't a very hard check to make. You're looking for books on shelves, in very nicely organized shelves. So you are fortunately able to find plenty of books about Zadash's history, and
luckily, Gesh can read.
yeah. And there's plenty of books on the history of Zadash, and they mostly say the same thing about like the establishment of military outposts and the way that the city itself was built around the spires along with the King's Hall. There's also a bit about the establishment of the Dwendalian Empire and Rexantrum, the capital city. But you're able to find like a good amount. Is there anything else you were looking for, or?
Okay, about 3 of you were frozen on me, and I didn't hear most of that.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Just
No, it's okay.
Internet!
It's fine. I'll just repeat myself. You are able to find plenty of books that kind of talk about like the basic history of Zadash. You do come to learn that the city itself was built around the spires. You also find a couple books about the capital city and how trade routes have kind of been established over the years, that kind of thing. Fenkin, did you say you ran over to Ozla to watch the ritual, or I seem to remember that.
Yeah, he's always sort of been hanging by her in the background, so he kind of witnessed not much, but a little bit of the ritual.
All right, so with the ritual finished, I'm assuming you kind of wander back to kind of look about or whatever, and eventually a Pumat walks by carrying kind of a crate, and he's like, "Oh, hey, is there anything you need help finding?"
He gives him a rather unfriendly look, and then it says, "No."
Are you sure
Damn.
you got something for everybody?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, okay. Well, if you do need anything, there's about 6 or 7 of us at the moment, so just give us a call and we'll be right there for you. And he starts to walk away before he stops, and then he kind of like steps back with his crate and is like, "By the way, is that a bow you got?"
Yes?
Ooh. Okay, just a second. Wait right here. I think I got something for you. And he takes his crate and he puts it down to where he was going to put it before going behind the counter and coming back with in his hands he's holding what appears to be like a silver bowstring of some kind. It's very long and very filamenty, and it kind of like glints in the sun as he holds it up. And he's like, "Okay, so this is going to cost about 250 gold, but if you do replace your current bowstring with this little number here, guess what's going to happen?"
You want me to guess what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, I could tell you, but this is a lot more fun, I think. I like hearing other people's answers. Hey,
I think it would make me able to pierce your skull a lot easier.
that's actually quite accurate. You see, this right here is called a filament of true strike, and it's going to make your shots with that thing a lot better.
Huh. He gives it a look over, seems a little bit interested, fishes out his purse of gold, looks at it, closes it immediately with a snap, and glares at him. No, thank you.
Okay, well, okay, no problem. If you change your mind, just let me know. And he walks away with the filament of true strike to put it away.
I have 250 gold. He follows him with a somewhat glare, somewhat reluctant, somewhat almost hostile look as he imagines his dagger digging into their back and stealing the string.
Aren't you chaotic good?
Huh?
Aren't you chaotic good?
Aren't you chaotic good?
Things change.
He's imagining it, he's not actually doing it, he's just like sort of drilling holes into his back.
I mean, he's chaotic. Okay, chaotic.
He's chaotic. Yeah, he is
He's
chaotic.
not lawful good.
No, he's not. He's chaotic.
So with that, I'm assuming everybody's done shopping, unless was there something Ozla was looking for, or?
I think she was. After everyone's like dispersed from the counter or something, she sort of like hangs back. And she's I imagine she's probably just by the counter, so she like leans up and puts her chin on it. And she
On her tiptoes.
whichever Puma still stood there, she goes, "Can I ask you something?"
The Pumat, who's kind of like counting up the money, he's like, "Oh yeah, what's up? How can I help you?"
Do you have anything here that non-magic users can use?
Oh, well, I got plenty of stuff like that. A non-magic user can easily drink a health potion. A non-magic user can put on a pair of bracers that makes them a bit stronger. But is there anything of the non-arcane nature that you were looking for? Or were you looking for some kind of magical enhancement that does not require proper attunement of the various frequencies?
She sort of just she stares at him for a second and leans and puts her cheek on the thing. And she goes, I'm looking for something that can find things.
Something that can find things. So, are you looking for a searching spell? Are you looking for what is it you're trying to find?
And she sort of just like pauses and like takes a deep breath and then goes, pirates.
Oh well, pirates are pretty easy to find. Just look for the fellows with the cutlass.
I mean, he's not wrong.
She stops and she goes like, yeah, but specific pirates, mate.
Well, I don't really have anything that can help you find a specific person or a specific type of person. Now, if there was a race of people that you were trying to find, I have things that will glow in the presence of goblins. I have things that will glow in the presence of tieflings. But if it's pirates you're looking for, I've got. Just hang on just a moment. And he steps around the corner towards the door, and he picks something up and he makes his way over. And he's got something in his hand, and he puts it on the table, and he winds it up. And when he takes his hands away, there's this like little copper pirate that kind of like. Every now and then it like swings a little tin sword, and then. He's like, I like this one. The kids like it too. It's only going to be 10 gold pieces.
She's sort of like a little bit insulted because he thinks she's a child, but then she remembers that Sylvan is probably waiting outside, and she sort of just like goes, well, you know what? I'll take it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, go ahead and remove 10 gold from your inventory and add copper pirate. Copper pirate.
God damn it. This kid better be great.
And once that's all done, he kind of like dusts his hands off and he's like, okay, well, is there anything else you guys are looking for?
I think we all just look at him and go like, no.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I hope you have a wonderful time here in the city of Zadash, and I hope that your visit to the invulnerable vagrant was as fun as I found it to be to have you all your joyous hearts here. And but before you get going, can I ask you something? Did a little red-headed halfling, half-elf, bring you guys here?
Sylvan?
Oh yeah, so you know it. Fantastic. If he's waiting for you outside, would you mind giving him this? And he raises his hand, and there's nothing really there, but he passes one hand over it, and as soon as he does, a cupcake appears in his palm with just white frosting and what appears to be like a little maraschino cherry on top. He's like, yeah, he and I got a little deal. He brings new travelers in. I give him one of these. They're his favorite.
Ozla holds our hands out and she goes, oh yeah, he said that, yeah. I'll give it to him.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Hey, don't be strangers. If you need anything else, I'm always open. So, you guys take care of yourselves now.
Bye!
And as he waves goodbye, 4 more Pumat heads pop out, and they're like, bye, have a good day. See you next time.
I would like to say that Nox is by the 3 potions that they just bought, and she's kind of like she's about to like put them in her pack, but then she like stops and she picks one up and she waves it in the direction of Fenkin, and she says, "Skinny one, come here."
Fenkin sighs and reluctantly answers to that nickname. We'll come to that too by now. And he takes a few grumpy steps over and he's like, what do you want?
She kind of like presses it into his chest, like forcefully, and she says, take this so you do not die next time.
Oh, man. Okay.
He just takes it and he looks at it, looks at her, looks down at it again, and he's like, huh, I thought you were a cheapskate. And then he puts it away.
And with that, as you all leave the invulnerable vagrant, we are going to take a 10-minute break, and we will be back with episode 5, part 2. So see you in a bit, because your DM has to make a BM, and then cry about the existential weight of his life.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.